Oh, we have another question. How do you handle U.S. regional insurance when working abroad? Good
So
question.
when you say insurance, you're talking about health insurance, I'm assuming. Um, I don't have insurance. The place I live in, I don't need it. If something bad happens to me, I'm going to pay cash. I live in Baja California, Sur, Mexico, and we have great quality health care here. You can pay out of pocket. I'm also a veteran, so if I get really fucked up, I'll just go back to the United States and hit up a regional VA office.
Awesome. That is something that's very important. Like the rest of the world has. I don't know if the rest of the world, but definitely Europe and Latin America, they have very decent medical systems, very decent doctors. Like if you're talking, like if you're thinking of like the public system, then yeah, probably not. But like private clinics, private doctors, they're usually very good, and a lot of them study in the United States. So you're basically getting highly qualified people for a lot less. And a lot of the times you're also just, you're not dealing with very complex stuff. Like if I was going to get surgery, like really complex surgery, yeah, maybe I do want to go to like the expert and the doctor house or whatever in the United States. But if it's like routine stuff, like just going to get a dental cleaning or something like that, like going to the eye doctor or whatever, it's like, dude, like just a guy that went to a good school, and like it's just has a good reputation. It's fine.
Absolutely. And that, not to go off track here, but what you just described and what I described is one of the benefits of not living in the continental United States, where you are not subject to the insurance scam. And I have never taken employer health insurance since I started job stacking 3.5 years ago. I have never been challenged by HR. I've used the excuse of spouse insurance, VA coverage,
Awesome.
TRICARE, and nobody has ever questioned me or flagged that as a risk. As a matter of fact, when I work on a contract, I tell them straight up, I do not want your benefits because, well, you laugh, but what that
No, it's
does
great. It's great.
is no, I think you're going to like what I'm about to say. When you strip out benefits as a contractor, you can demand more cash compensation. And
Absolutely.
cash is
Yes.
king, baby. We don't need these bullshit health benefits I'm never going to use in the United States. So I demand more money up front. And actually, a lot of companies like that because you're not a
Yeah,
draw on their benefits.
that's right. Sometimes the benefits can be even more of a burden than just giving you a little bit more cash. Companies. So,
Absolutely. And it reduces your tethers to the employer. The biggest reason that my friends have said they don't want a job stack is because they're worried about getting found out and losing their benefits and their health insurance. And I feel for them. I
yeah,
understand from a conceptual standpoint, but it just reinforces the dichotomy of employment is like, I don't know if this is the right term, but like carceral employment or
yeah.
slavery. It's like there's
It is.
so many tethers to like your life. Like I don't care about health insurance. Like no disrespect to that question. It's a very valid question, Mark. But it's like I totally forgot about health insurance till you just mentioned it. To be honest, it hasn't even crossed my mind since this year started. Actually,
Yeah, absolutely. It's we discussed this in depth on the last stream, which was the veteran stream, which is not recorded. Um, and I went on a whole tangent, or the entire group went on a whole tangent on employment, wage slavery. And I guess I can get into this now that it is recorded, which is that the system is very satanic, like demonic in very specific ways, in the sense of like one of the greatest prides of the modern world and the modern system and the modern powers is that they got rid of slavery. Like, oh, we abolished slavery. Like the British, we were so, so moral that we got rid of slavery. We Christians, we got rid of slavery. And it's like, no, we didn't. Like we got rid of a type of slavery, which was chattel slavery for sure. Like that doesn't exist, at least in the West, anymore. but we got drafted, like the entire population of the Western Hemisphere got drafted into this wage slavery deal, which was like preposterous. Like wage slavery was considered very low status in the past. Like you were considered worse than a beggar. Like you were you were an orphan, you were a widow. Like wage slavery was not. I'm sorry, wage labor was not considered like this thing of like, oh, I'm free because I can, get, paid for my work. It's like it was very low status, and Lash writes about this. AJ loves Lash. That and you can see that, you can read it in history that when the factories were expanding and basically forcefully recruiting people from the fields and giving them wages, right? People rightfully rebelled. Like they thought that they were correctly getting enslaved. Like the way, getting rid of the common lands, right? Like or the common fields that they use, right, for subsistence, for their subsistence economy or their subsistence. It was seen as an attack. Like it was seen as like they were infringing upon their freedoms and enslaving them, and they were correct. So we live in a mass slavery system that prides itself in the fact that it has brought unprecedented freedom to everybody, when it's the complete opposite. Like we have never worked more, we have never been less free. And job stacking, like you're still in wage slavery, but you're doing something about it, right? Like you are being less dependent on, you're cutting feathers. You're not completely unfettered, but you're cutting feathers here and there, and eventually you will reach enough, you will reach escape velocity to get rid of, like, to not be a wage labor anymore. But yeah, wage slavery. I'm sorry, I keep calling it wage slavery, which is redundant, but the wage labor was and is slavery. It's just another type of slavery. We got rid of one particular type of slavery, the plantation, the chattel slavery, but then another mass slavery system was instituted. And that's on the Western Hemisphere. On the Eastern Hemisphere, there's real slavery. There's like more traditional, like slavery that's more in your face, like that we would recognize more explicitly as slavery. Like companies, use child labor, sweatshops all over Asia. So it's like, give me a break that we got rid of slavery and that we're so moral and that we're so good. It's like, no, man, like we live in there's probably never been more slavery than there is now, to be honest.
Rolf, I think that the poster child for this in the United States is Amazon. They are known at every level of the job. The person at the warehouse, your corporate manager, it is a grind. It's a brutal place that is not meant for the human body and soul. And as an example, when I graduated, I was flown out to interview with Amazon. The only reason I did it was I wanted a free trip to a cool metro where they were holding it. I had no intention of working for them. So shout out Amazon, F you. But basically the job, every aspect of the job was a carefully curated way to keep your best years of your working life at the company. The compensation was heavily dependent on stock options with, if I remember it, a 7-year vest. So essentially, these kids, if you're 22, you're vesting at 29, you're totally wrecked mentally, probably physically. You probably have a shitty home life. And okay, cool, I've got a couple $100,000, but like your best years of your life are totally eaten up. Amazon was one of the first companies to do the RTO BS. They were one of the loudest companies to return to an office. Doesn't matter if you were hired remotely. So, I mean, that's like the poster child for this system. I mean, they're horrible. They're completely evil.
Yeah, and you get money. You don't, back in the past, like when you were freed, you either gain your freedom or that came with land, right? Like you owe, you have some acres now, so you are a free man. Like now they just give you money, and the money, it's like, well, what do I do with this? Right? Like you can't. Like, all right, a couple $100,000. Okay, I can't even buy a house cash with this. Right? Like maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I think though, and this is kind of where I have put my own spin on this, is during COVID, I kind of woke up to all that when I started job stacking, and I said, the U.S. is so expensive. I could get to my financial goals so much faster by just not living here. And that is what it was. That was literally the genesis of my adventures abroad. And that's why I want to help people, because I think that if you're in the US, even if you are a job stacking stud and you have 5 jobs and you're clearing $500,000 to $1 million plus, that money is not worth the same as it was 4 or 5 years ago. And to live in a safe metro where you can raise kids and have a nice house, the cost is so high. But if you take your remote jobs abroad, you instantly teleport into a totally different socioeconomic status. And for me, that is everything.
Absolutely. And even if you decide to stay in Canada or the United States, job stacking, I mean, it just makes things a lot easier. Like you also go up a peg, right?
Absolutely. No, yeah, the money is great anywhere. And I'm sure most job stackers, even if you only have 2 jobs, you're probably clearing in the top 5-10 percentile, depending on your metro, maybe even 1%. Yeah. But it is to say that if you were to rack and stack based on cost of living, quality of life, I think a lot of people would come to the conclusion that I, and perhaps you have, is that you can be an absolute different person, a different lifestyle, superior to that of where you're from, if you're from the Anglosphere.
You are absolutely, Brad. You're absolutely correct. And you know, if you have 2 jobs, you are a top slave.
Top slave,
top compensated slave, baby. You're closer to freedom.
You know what, though? I think this is something I want to chat about with you, and I think this is a great venue. I've seen this girl on Instagram. She does the lazy girl jobs content. She's got these big glasses. She has like kind of a nerdy effect, but her whole shtick, it's actually quite hilarious. She's like a female NEET. And she's like, I don't want to work hard. I just want an easy, lazy girl job. And you know what? Like, I love that. I think that's absolutely hilarious. But they're all missing the point. They're all missing the point. Like, yes, I agree with the NEETs. I just, you know what? I want you to be able to play Xbox in your PJs and say, you know what? F it. Like I think men should have that right. I don't think that they should be, castigated or criticized. But here's the thing. The best way to quote unquote fight the system is to job stack. It's not to be a lazy piece of shit. It's not to be smoking pot on the couch playing COD. Like, get a bunch of jobs, and then while you're on these horrible one-on-one stand-ups, have a monitor playing a video game and just act like you're engaged. I mean, you could
get paid twice. Get paid twice to play the video game. Yeah. And then just save your money and then invest in a business, do something else. Like be productive, be the king of mediocrity. This is what job stacking is all about.
Absolutely. It's the applied concept of the system sucks, an extra monitor that I hook up to my Xbox. And if I'm on a really long call, I'm playing an FPS. I'm shooting somebody on a video game just to get by the meeting. And I think it's great. Remote work gives you that freedom.
It's worth more than anything they can pay. And like you see this all the time as well on Twitter, like people, when they want to dunk on remote work, say like, "Oh my God, like how can you stay at home all day and like you're so bored?" It's like, man, I've never been less at home than since I've worked remotely.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because the propaganda never sticks. It's
never.
The remote jobs are all going to end. You're going to be forced back to the office. No, I'm not.
No, but I mean, I get it. Like if it's somebody that is just thinking that you're just staying home all day in the couch, and, smoking weed or whatever. Okay, yeah, that's kind of depressing. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can just like go to the gym, take a call on the way. It has to be the right kind of job. So that's the thing. Like we are seeing a degradation of sort of like the remote practices, but the good jobs are still out there. It's just a matter of ABAing, always being there, like always being exposed to finding the good clients, the good jobs. So yeah.
Hey, Rolf here. If you found the content of this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow and get the word out to more people about job stacking. Thanks.